Attention Northwest Arkansas businesses and talent seekers. Introducing OnboardNWA.com, your hyperlocal job board crafted for our unique community. Struggling to find the perfect match for your job openings? Onboard NWA simplifies the hiring process, connecting you with the region's top talent through tailored talent matching solutions. Whether you're an employer seeking expertise or a professional looking for your next opportunity, Onboard NWA is here for you. Discover more at onboardnwa.com, and let's build the future of Northwest Arkansas together.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Here's our host, Randy Wilburn.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and I'm excited to be with you today. I've got another great episode. At least I think it's great. You know, I always say that at the beginning. Maybe I'm jinxing myself by saying that. I don't know, but I just say I have a great episode because I'm always positive that the people that I bring before me to sit down and talk to are just going to be amazing guests and people that are going to enlighten and illumine not just myself, but the audience as well. So without further ado, I want to welcome Ana Ortiz, who is the program manager of EForAll, and Rodrigo Salas, who is the executive director of EForAll. I got introduced to these guys actually through a number of folks, and everybody that I talked to, the folks at Startup Junkie, Kiva, Forge, they all mentioned EForAll, and I kept saying, oh man, I gotta connect with these guys and find out what they're all about. So they're here with me today, and I just, as always, I want to just give a quick shout out. Appreciate the Fayetteville Public Library and the Center for Innovation. It's just a blessing to be able to have a facility like this at my disposal. I encourage you to come check out the Fayetteville Public Library and the Center for Innovation if you've never been there before. If you don't live in Northwest Arkansas and you're coming here to visit, you've got to come to the Fayetteville Public Library. Trust me, you will thank me later. So, but how are you guys doing today?
Hi, we're doing good.
Great. Thank you, Randy. Thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, we always do this and everybody knows, I always ask the superhero origin story. So ladies first, Ana, why don't you give us the Cliff Note version of who you are?
Yes. So I am Ana Ortiz, and I've been working for about 3 years with small business owners in the community, especially Spanish speakers. I got interested in helping them for a long time, and they kept coming to me, you know, to answer questions about businesses. But I thought there was something else needed for them. So I started preparing myself, reading books about businesses because I am an education major. I graduated from Brigham Young University of Idaho with the Spanish education.
Sure.
And so I thought, okay, I need to get to know more about businesses, right? So I started looking for ways to help them, but at the same time, because they were coming to me, to prepare myself even more to be able to help them in the questions that they had. I own my own photography business, but that's about it. I knew about photography, and I took a course about business that I thought, well, it's going to help me, but it's also going to help other small business owners.
Sure.
In the process, I talked to Sandra, who is my friend, Sandra Carrasco. And it was very interesting to get to know that she also found a lot of small business owners here in Northwest Arkansas with the need of, you know, guidance to direct them how to run their business or how to start a small business. And that's how we kind of did research together and found EForAll in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, we had an opportunity to talk to the Family Walden Foundation about it. We presented it to them. We gave them cons and pros and everything, and they decided to bring it here to Northwest Arkansas.
Wow. All of that just came out of a desire or a wish to just improve yourself and help others improve themselves when it comes to starting a business.
That is correct. One of the things that I am led by is you need to improve yourself, like you said, in order to help others.
Yeah.
So yes, that's how EForAll came to Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, like I always say, a drowning man or woman can't give swimming lessons. So, you've got to learn. You've got to learn how to swim. So that's great. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad you took the initiative to bring EForAll here. And that's right. I forgot that its origin started in Massachusetts, where I lived before I moved here 7 years ago at the recording of this podcast. So that's real interesting. We'll dive into that. Rodrigo, why don't you give us your origin story?
Absolutely, Randy. So I'm from Mexico City, born and raised, moved to Texas in 2003 for business school. And then we moved to Dallas. I worked in advertising and marketing for many, many years. And about 7 years ago, I started my own business, a Mexican food business that I still own. We sell Mexican sauces and hot sauces at supermarkets. And then my wife and I, we've always worked, in corporate America. So my wife took a job with Walmart a couple of years ago, and that's how we came to Northwest Arkansas. Since I started my business, I realized that one of the hardest things to do is the easiest thing to do is to start a business. The hardest is to keep it going and to make it grow, right? Especially when you're by yourself. You don't have any help. You don't have anybody to bounce ideas with. So I had some help from other mentors in Dallas, and that help was really, really useful for me. So I started mentoring as well back in Dallas. And then when we moved to Northwest Arkansas, I started mentoring for Startup Junkie. And that's how I heard about EForAll. So they told me about the position. I applied, and fortunately, I got the job. So now I'm here working as the executive director of entrepreneurship for all here in Northwest Arkansas.
That's great. And EForAll is a new organization here in Northwest Arkansas, right? I mean, literally brand spanking new. So
yes, we have the first site in Northwest Arkansas here in Bentonville, I would say, Rogers. Yeah.
But you cover the whole area.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We do.
Okay. Great. So tell me a little bit about EForAll. Give me the background and the story of how did EForAll start in the first place?
EForAll started in 2010, and it was started by an Indian entrepreneur who had a couple of successful exits, and he decided to give back to the community. So the first office was opened in Lowell, Massachusetts. It was so successful that soon after it started to expand into other areas of Massachusetts, in other cities. And, 10, 12 years later, we are in 11 different cities around the U.S. 8 of them are in Massachusetts, and the 3 outside of Massachusetts we opened last year. Okay. So it was Northwest Arkansas, Longmont, Colorado, and Buffalo, New York. We are currently starting new offices as well in Rhode Island and Chicago and other parts of the country. But so that's how it started. And it was started with the whole purpose of helping entrepreneurs or small business owners start and grow their business. That's the whole idea behind our organization.
Okay. So, and that's a lot. That encompasses a lot. So what can people expect when they come to EForAll? And is EForAll accessible and available to everyone, or is there a primary focus or target audience of new business startups that you guys go after?
This is we offer 2 programs which are available for anyone in the community who has an idea and wants to develop it. We have our motto is we turn dreams into businesses. So we like to help anyone that it's either starting a new business or that already has an existing business to develop that idea, to develop that ability to sell, promote, offer different classes throughout our accelerator throughout the year. Yes.
Okay. And what is the accelerator has that started yet, or is that up and running, or what will that entail?
We offer 2 accelerators twice a year, and we have one that is starting in this month, actually. But we also have another one coming up. And we simultaneously run these 2 accelerators in English and in Spanish, where we offer, like I said, variety of different courses for entrepreneurs regarding financing, marketing, other stuff. And we also give them a group of mentors that will help them feel the support that they need in order to make this idea happen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you said it earlier, and everybody needs a mentor when they're running a business, because a lot of times when you go out and start something, you want some confirmation that it might be viable, right? That you can actually get a business off the ground. And if you can see somebody that has had success, whether they're doing something similar to what you're doing, or they've just been successful in business, that gives you hope, right? As a startup, that, oh man, if they can do it, I can do it.
That is true. That is so true. And I think a lot of our mentors right now are such a great example for our entrepreneurs coming up to the accelerator. But I think that we're very excited that a lot of our community members here in Northwest Arkansas are going to be able to have the opportunity of having that guidance, that keeps them going, and also, and more importantly, giving them the tools that they need in order to be successful.
Yeah. Wow. So, Rodrigo, I mean, you've had quite a bit of experience as a business owner. What was the biggest thing that you overcame with your business that allowed you to be successful, right? And again, it could be I know there's a million different things or possibilities, but what's one thing that you could point to and say, this was a challenge for me, but I overcame it? And maybe it was because you had a mentor or somebody else that had gone before you and said, hey, Rodrigo, this is how you do this.
Yeah. So one of the biggest challenges for me was selling our product, like selling it not to the public, but to the retailers.
Right.
It's not an easy feat first to get the appointments, get the first appointment with the buyers, and then pitching the idea to the buyers and telling all the story. So for me, that was one of the hardest things to overcome. I had never sold anything before in my life. Let alone selling it to a Walmart or to an H-E-B or one of those big chains. So yeah, I had many mentors that helped me and guided me through it, because it is a process and it takes a long time to do it. And, from the moment you put together your first presentation to the moment you go out and present it, you went through 12, 15 different iterations of the presentation, just to make sure that you're having the right information and everything. So yeah, I would say selling, for me, it was the hardest thing to do. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you?
Same, I will say, but also having confidence in me. I think that's one of the things that at the beginning I thought that everything was about just taking the photos right, like having good light, good exposure. But then as I became better at those things, all I could see is that all I needed was to have confidence in me. And for that, I needed someone to talk to, someone that was there for me. And that person for me was my husband, my mentor, telling me every day, this is great, you can do this. You are doing a good job. Just keep it up. And then when it became a business, when I said, okay, this product is good, I need to sell it now. And that was the challenge, was, to sell it to the community, like telling them why, or just in general, focusing on one point. Was it going to be a family portraits only, weddings, or, that was really hard for me to be focused on it. And that's one of the things that we do here at EForAll. In our courses, we have the ability to offer that to our entrepreneurs. You need to choose your target customers and you need to focus on them, so that then if you can grow even more, you can expand. And I think that is part of being a business owner, knowing when to take the next step and having someone there to help you and guide you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, anybody can open up a business, right? Like anybody, literally. If you can fog a mirror, you can open up a business. But you brought up some really good points, and I hope that people listening to this understand it. One of the things you brought up was simply that, A, you need to know who your target market is, right? Because it's not everybody. I mean, Rodrigo, you selling food, everybody's not going to like food. If you're selling spicy food, there's a lot of people, there's like half the world that doesn't like spicy food, right? So that just lops off half the potential purchasers of your stuff. So right away, you have to know, like, I'm a spicy guy, so I'm your target audience, right? You can throw, I don't care what you throw at me, I'm going for it. But the bottom line is, you're absolutely right. You need to understand who your target market is. And you said something really key when you were talking about photography. What kind of photography are you going to do, right? Because, you could try to be all things to all people, but that's never going to work. So like you said, I mean, family photography is one thing. Action, sports. I mean, there are a bunch of different ways that you could represent yourself as a photographic entrepreneur. Right. You have to decide, A, which one works for you and what market is underserved and maybe has a need.
Right. And at the time, I felt that, or maybe I didn't look anywhere else outside of my circle, which was my family, right? But at the time, I felt limited to recognize those things. And now, thanks to EForAll, I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to have that opportunity now that we are here in Northwest Arkansas, without just having your husband telling you, you could do this, you could do that. But now you're going to have professionals who are going to come and going to be able to tell you, okay, this is what works best, this is what I have done, or these are the things that you need to be looking after. After so many years, I think that this is going to be great for our community in terms of growth. Our community is growing and a lot of people are starting their own small businesses. But when I think right now in Northwest Arkansas in general, there's a lot of opportunities for small business owners to be learning.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful that there is Startup Junkie, Kiva Loan, there is the Council helping these small business owners. But I think also that, this is just a great opportunity in general for anyone starting a business or developing their business.
Yeah. I mean, you have to build on a solid foundation.
Right.
And I think it's from an entrepreneurship perspective, a solid foundation is assembling, as you said earlier, Rodrigo, a number of mentors that can help you out in different ways. Somebody in the marketing space, somebody in the sales, because like sometimes people conflate sales and marketing together, but they're actually two different things. You need to have somebody on operations that can kind of help you. What does the day-to-day look like for your business? There are so many different individuals, and you're absolutely right. What you said earlier, Anna, is that there's so many different organizations in Northwest Arkansas that when you kind of stick them together, EForAll, Kiva, Startup Junkie, Forge, and so many others, they all fit different needs. And I also want to shout out to ASB TDC because they're right up the street there at the corner of Block and Dixon in downtown Fayetteville. But they do great work with a wide variety of people. I'm even working with them to kind of help fine tune some things. So, I mean, even if you appear like you have it figured out, it's always good to get some help.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's always good to get some help. And you said something very important that, a lot of times your family's always going to support you, right? Yes. My mom thinks everything I do is the best thing in the world. My wife thinks everything I do is the best thing in the world.
Right.
But sometimes I need people to call me to the carpet or to question what I think in my mind is absolute or right.
Right.
Because a lot of times I'm only thinking that way because I want to achieve a certain result. Doesn't necessarily mean I can get that result. And sometimes I need somebody to ask me the hard questions. And that may not be your spouse. It may not be a family member. They love you. They want to see you succeed. So they're going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yes.
Sometimes we need to hear from people that don't have a dog in the fight and just want to give you guidance and help and wisdom, which isn't always wrapped up in bite-sized pieces that make you feel good.
That is correct. That is so true.
And, the other thing is that oftentimes every time, when a person wants to start a business, they come with the idea. It's a passion that they have, or it's a need that they have. And from there, it comes the idea to start a business, but they don't stop and think, is there, enough people that is going to buy my product? Is there, how much are they willing to pay? Are there any other businesses doing the exact same thing?
Right.
Like they just see their own idea. They're like, this is great. And it happened to me. I did it. I did the exact same thing. Like, who doesn't like Mexican food?
Right.
And I mean, everybody loves Mexican food, right? And no. The sad truth is that nobody, not everybody is going to like your products, and it's not going to like your business. So doing your work before you start your business and just get running, it's going to save you a lot of headaches and a lot of heartaches in a way, because you're going to be better prepared to what's coming next.
Sure.
So I think that's a very important lesson. And to me, I heard it the hard way. I learned it the hard way, but I'm hoping that a lot of people in our community can learn it, the good way before they start the business and before they launch that idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the whole issue too, right? It's like if somebody comes and sits down with EForAll and sits down with you, Rodrigo, they're going to have the benefit of all the mistakes that you made that they don't have to make, because you will actually help them through the process to avoid some of those pitfalls, right? And Anna, you're like, yeah, I totally understand that. That makes perfect sense.
Yes. And it makes me really happy, like inside. It makes me really happy that these entrepreneurs coming to our programs are going to be avoiding a lot of downfalls, because we have a program that is structured for them already, and they will know different times, specifically when they needed what they need to do.
Yeah.
And mind you, they will fail, because everybody fails.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
the idea is that they will fail and they will pivot and continue, moving forward with their business, talking through with their mentors and finding ways to continue moving forward. So that's the key thing, that they can fail. It's not wrong. It's not bad to fail. It's just, you need to learn from that failure, and then you need to keep moving forward and trying new things.
Yeah, no. And as I always like to say, if you're going to fail forward, right? You're going to fail forward, and then that means you're further along, and you learn from it, and then you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And so EForAll is going to certainly provide those opportunities in a safe space for young entrepreneurs, young in the sense of the amount of time that you've actually been in business, young entrepreneurs to really kind of figure things out and, understand their business and, do the market research that's required to make sure that you're serving the needs of the community that you want to serve. Because you bring up a good point, Rodrigo, and you said it earlier. A lot of times in our minds play tricks on us. Our minds will tell us, oh, this is the perfect product or this is the perfect service. And you're like, well, how come nobody else is doing it? It's like they just haven't figured it out, and you know it, right? And it's like, nah, that's probably not it. It's probably that the market hasn't asked for it. And a lot of times we think that we know better than what the market does. And there have been instances where maybe that was the case, but typically what we find with startups and small businesses is that you've got to be able to read the writing on the wall with regard to your product or service. You've got to recognize and understand who's going to gravitate towards it and who isn't. It's going to be for some people and not others. You have to be able to be willing to do that. And as they say, what is the expression? Sometimes you have to kill your babies. And I hate using that expression, but babies in the sense of you're birthing new ideas and new ways to do your business. But sometimes those things that you birth are not going to be viable from that perspective. And so you have to kill those off and move on to something that really is going to be. And sometimes, and this is for this could be anyone, sometimes the thing that you least expect to be profitable and viable and marketable is just that item.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So with my experience, I always thought, okay, I can do any type of photography, especially because I was asked to do commercial photography, product photography,
right,
and portrait photography. But you also, as the business owner, need to recognize, okay, what do I enjoy best?
Right.
Or what am I best at? You need to know also so that you can bring that up and make it shine. Because with all of the knowledge that you have, yes, there are going to be times that you're going to say, okay, yes, I can do, portrait photography only or product photography. But then you recognize that that's not what you enjoy and that's not what you really like doing. So I think that it's going to be great. It's going to be great for a lot of also mentors to come and participate in our program, because as they're going to be able to share that knowledge that they have with these entrepreneurs, and they're going to be heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want to land this, and just so that everybody has a better understanding, we've got a couple of cohorts that you're going to be doing both in English and in Spanish, training programs. Give me what's the length of these? How are they set up and organized?
Yes, we offer them twice a year simultaneously. I am the program manager running the program all in Spanish. So I'm the one recruiting any bilingual Spanish speakers, that can help entrepreneurs that prefer learning the language, learning in the Spanish language. Diana Ruby, who is our other program manager, is running the program in English. We offer it twice a year, like I said, and it is 1 year program. So it is for 1 year, and the first 3 months of the year, the entrepreneurs are taking courses that are regarding their business, and throughout the whole year, they have the mentors. We give at least 2 mentors per business that they can be talking to or asking questions to, also us, right? But throughout the whole year of the program.
Okay. Is there a cost for the program?
No, these programs are for free. They're offered for free to anyone.
So this is kind of how what the Walton Family Foundation is underwritten.
Yes.
Is your ability to do these programs.
Yes.
Will there be anything else you're offering beyond these programs?
Yes, we also have pitch contests.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we offer 2 pitch contests as well, twice a year. And our next accelerator actually, and our next pitch contest is coming up in March. So be tuned.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I love pitch competitions. I was just fortunate enough to be a judge for a food entrepreneur competition with Curate. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a really good time with that. And we gave away $5,000. I love giving away other people's money. It's a lot of fun. But we gave away $5,000 to Asami Teas. And man, actually, that's what I'm drinking right now. And so shout out to Asami. But just I think they're going to be one of the top tea makers to come out of Northwest Arkansas with the concentration of offerings that they have. But nevertheless, I think pitch competitions are a great way for people to refine their message,
right?
To learn how to communicate more effectively. Because one of the things that I've seen, especially because I've judged a few, is that a lot of times people don't do the prep necessary to be able to get up and tell your story.
Or they get nervous.
Which is fine. I mean, it's totally fine. I mean, public speaking is it's next to death, right? I mean, people fear death over public speaking. They fear public speaking over death. So it's one of those things where I get it, but there's always little things that you can do to improve your message. And I always tell people, and because I go around the country doing some trainings, and one of the things that I tell people, even people that are employees, even if you're not in the sales department, you need to be able to sell your organization, your business, the mission of your organization. You need to be able to sell that in 25 to 30 seconds. And you need to have it down pat.
Right.
Everybody needs to have it. Just like you guys have your pitch for EForAll, I've got my pitch for I Am Northwest Arkansas. It's the confluence of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in the Ozarks.
Well, let me invite anyone who wants to come practice their pitch. Please come and participate to our pitch contest.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to give you an opportunity to practice, but also to get money.
Yeah. What's the prize money for that? Have you decided?
Yes.
It is, yeah. So we hand out to $2,500 for the top 3.
Yeah.
But what's unique about our programs, both of them, the pitch contest, for example, as you said, you can refine your idea, you can, make to develop your public speaking skills. But the most important part of our pitch contest is that, unlike any other pitch contest, we're not asking our participants to raise funds or to pitch it for money.
Sure.
We want them to think about their idea. We want them to think about the market opportunity, what problem are they solving, and the size of that opportunity. Because again, as going back to what we were talking before, oftentimes it's a need, it's an own need, it's something that a passion that we have. So they don't stop and think. And that's the first step. We want them to think, okay, are you solving a problem that many other people around you have it?
Right.
Or is it only for you? And if they can answer that question, then it's much, much easier for them to keep moving forward with that idea, because now they know that there's an opportunity and there's something that they can aim to solve a problem for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you're absolutely right, because I remember taking notes for each person. We had 10 different people that pitched, and I gave specific notes about things that they could work on, things that they could improve on, how you connect ideas, right? Because I mean, you know, when we talk to people, we want to be able to connect ideas so that when you walk away, you know, Rodrigo, you're saying, oh yeah, I know what Randy's saying, and I understand what I understand what he's, you know, getting at. And a lot of times we just don't. Communication is a challenge for a lot of people. And typically what they'll do is they'll say, you know, I'll just focus on the other stuff. And so either you, as the representative of your business, have to be an excellent communicator, or you need to have a partner that's an excellent communicator. Mm-hmm. But somebody within your organization needs to be able to communicate effectively. I firmly believe, though, that everyone can learn to communicate effectively. It's not as hard as you think, but it does require some practice and work.
It does, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Did you want to be our mentor?
I got a lot on my plate right now, so I don't know that I could pick up too much else to do, but we'll talk offline, and I'm sure I can help you guys out in some ways. It's all good. No, I mean, my honestly, the answer to that is, you know, my goal is to give you guys a platform. So I'm giving you my platform here at I Am Northwest Arkansas. And, you know, whoever listens to this, whether there's somebody that's relocating here in another year and will come to you and say, you know, I heard this podcast episode a year ago on I Am Northwest Arkansas about your program. I'm here now. I'm starting a business. Can you help me? You know, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. Yeah. So that's the whole focus of what I'm trying to do here is just to extend my platform to all these great organizations, all these great individuals that make Northwest Arkansas such a special place. And you guys are part of that. So I really appreciate you guys, you know, being willing to come on the podcast and just share your story and tell us a little bit about EForAll and the passion that you have behind it. And I can totally see it just in how you've described everything. So, you know, if people want to connect with you guys, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can send us an email. My email is ana.ortiz@eforall.org.
Okay. And that's ANA, not ANNA.
Just one N.
Yeah, one N. Okay. And we'll put this all in the show notes too. Okay.
Or they can visit our website, which is EForAll Northwest Arkansas.
Okay. And it's just the letter E and then 4?
Yes. EForAll.
Okay.
And Northwest Arkansas. Or
EForAll
Northwest.org.
.org.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
don't worry, folks. We'll put this all in the show notes. So if anything sounds convoluted or you're not fully clear, go to the show notes for I Am Northwest Arkansas and just choose this episode on EForAll, and you'll be able to get the information for this. So what else were you going to say?
Oh, that we also have our Instagram, which you can always be sending us messages through our Instagram. I know
That's
many
good.
feel comfortable.
What is the...
And it's also EForAll Northwest Star.
Okay. Perfect. All right. We'll make sure all that's in there and all of that will be connected with that. So when you check out, if you follow I Am Northwest Arkansas on Instagram, we'll be tagging these guys. Actually already tagged you guys in a post that I did this morning, even before you got here. So there'll be some more tagging and we'll talk more about it. If you wanted to give a quick 15-second snippet of EForAll in Spanish, who wants to give that?
In Spanish?
Yes, because we do have Spanish. We have people that listen in Spanish.
That's awesome.
So I mean, we're not. That's not our only claim, but we've had Arkansas Latinas and BC on, and some of those guys, and I had them do a small commercial in Spanish for Arkansas Latinas and BC, and they've seen their growth. Not necessarily because of any commercial they did with me, but just in general. So if you want to just give a quick, they do. Those are my guys.
Latinas and BC.
Yeah, absolutely. But if either one of you wants to just give a quick, and that's fine.
So, Para Todos es una organización sin fines de lucro que ayuda a pequeños negocios o a personas que quieren empezar un negocio, a empezar ese negocio y a crecerlo. Nosotros les damos todas las herramientas necesarias por medio de nuestro acelerador de negocios para que puedan aprender todos los temas que necesitan para operar y crecer su negocio de una manera sustentable. Entonces, los invitamos a que participen en nuestro programa, vayan a nuestra página de internet o contáctenos por Facebook o Instagram y con gusto los atenderemos y estaremos en contacto con ustedes.
Muy bien. Muy bien. I love that. I love that. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. And I'll put that on the show notes, and I'll have you send me the translation so I get that properly. So, but no, I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to come sit down with me and share a little bit about your heart and EForAll and what you guys are doing. Shout out to the Walton Family Foundation for catching this vision that you guys had already created back in Lowell, Massachusetts, and now it's here in Northwest Arkansas. EForAll, you guys have to check it out. If you're thinking about starting a business or already started a business, but you need some help, you're hitting your head against the wall, not quite figuring everything out, because let's just face it, it is hard. Running a business is hard. It's easy to get a job, and there's nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the time, but being an entrepreneur, running a business, it's on a whole whole different level, but there's help out there for you. And that help is certainly embodied in what EForAll is doing. So I really want to encourage folks listening to this to definitely reach out to Ana, reach out to Rodrigo, and check out what they're doing and how they might be able to help you with your business idea or with your startup. So thank you guys so much.
Randy, do you mind if I add something else?
Sure.
So I wanted to emphasize that our program runs on volunteers. So we rely heavily on volunteers. And as Ana mentioned, we have mentors, we have specialists that are volunteers that are helping our entrepreneurs. But what I want to make sure is that everybody that is listening to this podcast is that you, regardless if you own a business or not, you can be a mentor to our entrepreneurs, because as long as you've had some business experience, as long as you've lived in this country and you've seen things done, you can guide people. You can ask the hard questions, as you mentioned, Randy, those questions that are really, really needed by many people, to improve their businesses. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, please reach out to us, to Ana, to Diana, or to me. We would love to talk to you. We would love to see how we can collaborate and partner and help the community, all the people in our community that we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll make sure we put all that in the show notes that anybody listening to this definitely, and I'll reinforce it once this episode comes out, that EForAll is always looking for able-bodied volunteers, people that can bring something to the table, provide some insight. Trust me, there's actually a lot of retired people that live here in Northwest Arkansas with significant corporate experience as well as small business experience that, why put all that knowledge away on the shelf? Bring it out, dust it off. EForAll is here. They need your help. Please check them out. Rodrigo, Ana, Diana, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your story.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Randy. It was great to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. To learn more about us or to read or download the show notes from today's episode, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. You can also listen to this podcast and sign up for our free newsletter to keep up with us and all things NWA. Sign up today. Please follow the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. Remember, our podcasts come out every Monday, rain or shine. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and we'll see you back here next week for another episode of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.